guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm super excited to finally announce that I am finished with a new 8x8 tutorial. This is going to be a PDF tutorial that was requested to me probably about a month ago, and I'm excited that I finally sat down yesterday and got it finished. And so also, as some of you might have seen my Easter mini album, the tutorial, it's basically exactly the same layouts as we have on this mini album here. Now this is a 7.5 by 7.5 album, and what I did is took all the layouts and converted those measurements into an 8x8 mini album, which is what we're going to be working on right now. So this is how the album looks like. You can see that it has the same type of layouts, and I did the PDF tutorial as well. But if you guys are interested on the PDF, I'm excited to announce to you that it's a double tutorial. So on the 8x8 tutorial PDF, you will see the measurements for the 4 signatures as well as for the 6 signatures. So you can basically make 2 different types of album. I have 2 different hinge measurements in there and more layout options than just the 4 signature one that you see here. I think it was kind of fun that I give you options on that tutorial, so you can kind of mix and match the layouts. You can do 4 pages, 6 pages. I've never done that before, so I'm excited to have that ready for you guys. So the link will be down below, and now let's get right into the tutorial. So to make this album, I'm going to use 2 pieces of chipboard at 8x8 and 1 piece at 8x3 for the spine. So once you have your 3 pieces laid down, I'm going to go ahead and cut the corners. Now I have this super cool tool, which is the right angle tool, and it was sent to me by Darlene Bruel. So I'm going to leave her Facebook and her contact information on the description box below, because I know that she makes this to sell, and I've been using it for a while now, and I think it really works to help you know exactly where you're gonna cut your cardstock here on the corner. So you probably can't really see the line that I mark with my score tool, but you basically just put it in the corner like this, and then you press down on it. Again, you can just follow that line, and it gives you the perfect separation in between your chipboard and your cardstock. So I'm just gonna do the same for all corners. So then we're just gonna fold your cardstock around, and then we're gonna press down, and I'm gonna do the same to all the sides. Now I have done this on a lot of different albums before, but I really always want to go through the basic steps in case I get any new subscribers or new beginner maybe album makers. So it's really important to bend your cardstock before you press down. That way you're not stressing your paper and you're not cracking your paper. So first just give it a little massage with your fingers and then press down. So now I'm just going to add my glue and continue wrapping everything around. So now we're going to do the same to the shoulder sides, and usually I tack the corners with my nails so we don't have that pointy sides. But by using this little tool, it really makes it so easy because it's already folded right there. And I'm just gonna now press this down, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite side here. So I'm going to press down in between this gap separation of the chipboard, and that really helps this bend a lot more easily, and you're not gonna bubble up your cardstock right there. So there you go. Now we have the base, and let's go ahead and work on the hinges. For the hinges, I'm going to start with a piece of 7 1/4 by 11. This is going to be lightweight cardstock, 65 pounds. We're going to score at 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3 inches, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 6 inches, 6 3/4, 7 1/2, 8 1/4, 9 inches, and 9 3/4. And all of these dimensions will be on the PDF tutorial. So now we're going to join together the first two lines here, the first 2 3/4 inches, and then we're gonna skip on the next one, and we're gonna pinch the next 2 and skip and pinch on the next 2, and the same with the last 2 pieces here. So then we're gonna turn this around, and we're going to join together the hinges. We're just gonna add some glue, and then we're gonna press it down just like that. And then I'm going to do the same for each one of the hinges, and you only need to put glue on one of the sides. I'm just going to press down here, and we're going to continue with the next one. Now, before we add the hinges into the book, I'm going to add some double-sided tape. So you want to add that on both sides of each one of the hinges. So I'm just gonna do one side, turn this, and do the other side. And remember that you are adding your tape closer to the outside of the hinge like this. So this hinge measures 3/4 inches, and your tape should only measure about 1/2 inch. That way you have a little extra space without any tape, and that is really important. That way your book can open flat. So then we're gonna go ahead and add the hinges into the spine of the book. So what I'm going to do is center these up and down, and also you're going to make sure that your hinges are centered on the spine. You will see the little dents right there. So I'm going to add my glue. I'm just gonna add quite a lot of glue here. You can also use double-sided tape if you like. I really find glue though to be a lot stronger than tape. After a few years, sometimes the tape starts coming apart, but the glue stays strong. Also, the way I do my hinges, it really is really secure to your pages, because I have those extra flaps that kind of hold your hinges once we put these other 2 sheets on top. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is grab your ruler, and we're going to mark where this bending line is. I'm actually just going to use a little piece of chipboard here because I don't know what my ruler is, but we are going to just score right there. Now do this very gently and really careful. You don't want to break your cardstock at this point. And then I'm gonna do the same for this other side. So now I'm going to need 2 pieces of cardstock at 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and I'm going to glue these 2 on the sides of the book. Like I said, this is going to be to hold your hinges and also to give a little bit more support to the base. And now we're gonna work on the pages. So for all of the pages, I'm going to be using heavyweight cardstock, 110 pounds. And so I'm going to use 2 for each signature base. So let me just grab them here. So we're gonna cut one at 7 1/2. So we're gonna do 7 1/2 by 8 1/2, which is the first one here, and the second one is going to be 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. So we're going to score along 8 1/2 inches at 1/2 inch and 8 inches, and we're gonna fold along the score lines here, and we're gonna add our double-sided tape. So then we're gonna build a page by just simply adding one on top of the other one. I'm going to remove the tape from the larger sides and just put it on the side like this. And then we're going to line this up, and we're gonna press down on the sticky side and remove the tape. Then we're gonna turn this to the other side and do the same thing. We're gonna peel off the tape and just remove the tape after that, and that's how we make the base pages. So we're gonna need 4 signatures for this book. So here I have my 4, and now we're gonna work on each one at a time. For the first page, I'm going to use 2 pieces of 7 1/2 by 7 1/2, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on one of the sides. So then we're going to fold along the score lines, and we are going to add this onto the base page. So we're going to add 1 to the left and 1 to the right. So you want to make sure to have the page openings on the sides. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and add the first one right there. And then I'm gonna open this up, and I'm going to add this other one here. So then we have these 2 openings like that. On the back of this page, I'm going to be adding a pocket. So I'm going to cut my cardstock at 4 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to do 4 1/2, and this is going to be 4 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I'm going to save this piece for the next page. But what we're gonna do is score 1/2 inch at each side here on 3 sides. So we're going to do 1/2 inch and then 8 inches, and we're gonna turn this and score at 1/2 inch again. And before you fold this, you want to cut the corners just like this to avoid the bulk when we're making the pocket. So now we can fold along the score lines, and we're going to add the pockets onto the page. So I'm going to add my glue. So So for the next page, I'm going to use that piece that we have left over, and I'm gonna cut this by 8. So this is going to measure 6.5 by 8 inches, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch along the 8-inch side, and then we're going to add this on the top of the base page. For the next page, I'm going to start with a new sheet here, and I'm going to cut these at 7 inches, and I'm going to cut these at 5.5, and I'm going to score each one of these at 1/2 inch along the 5.5 inch side. So then we're gonna add these two pieces to the base page. So there you go. So now we have these two openings. One will go up and one will go down. For the next page, I'm going to cut one sheet at 6 inches by 7.5, and I'm going to cut the second one at 7.5 as well, but this one measures 5 inches. So I am going to score the first one that measures 5 by 7.5 at 1/2 inch along 7.5 inches, and the second piece I'm going to score 1/2 inch along 6 inches. And now we're gonna fold along the lines. So now we're gonna add these two pieces onto the base. I'm going to start with this larger one. I'm gonna add that to one of the sides. And then we're gonna add the other one on the opposite side, and we're just going to center it. And there you go. Now you have this other different layout. For the next page, I'm going to make a really deep pocket. So I'm going to cut these at 6.5. So now we're gonna place this on your scoreboard, and we're going to score 1/2 inch along the 6.5 inch side, and we're going to do 1/2 inch and 8 inches along the 8.5 inch side, and then we're going to cut the corners like this again, and we're gonna fold along the score lines. So now I'm going to glue this pocket onto my page. Now you could do the pocket on the bottom like this, or you can do it on the side. So I'm going to do mine on the sides, and I'm just gonna add my glue and do the glue here as well on these 3 pieces. And now we're just gonna align this on the corner and press it down. And now we have this tall pocket or deep pocket and room for a picture here as well. For the next page, I'm going to cut a piece of 7.5 by 7.5, and we are going to score that at 1/2 inch again. And then I'm going to use a second piece of 7.5 by 4.5, and also score that on 1/2 inch. So now we are going to fold along the score lines, and we are going to add these into the base page. So I'm going to do one on each side of the page again. So I'm going to start here. There we go. And I love adding these large layouts because they provide so much room for pictures, as you can see. Then I'm going to add the smaller one on the opposite side, and we're just going to line it up and press down. And there you go. So now this page will close like that, and this smaller one will go on top, almost looking like a gatefold, but it's actually a larger area than that. So I'm going to leave the last page here plain, and now I'm ready to add these pages into my book, and I'll show you here on the book that we are following. This one only had 3 signature pages, so I'm adding one more, and I'm adding a couple more layouts as well. So we're going to be working on the inside covers after we add the pages, but just so you see this page right here, it is, and I'm not gonna do the same order. You can definitely do any order that you like for your layouts, but I just wanted to show you. So this one will probably look a little bit like this. Also, this album that I'm making, it's a little bit bigger. This is a 7x7, and the one that we're working on is an 8x8. So basically you can add another element here, which is this little piece of cardstock here that I added to add the magnet, and this is actually also a card. So many things that you can even build on top of your base pages. And so for example, this page here with the 2 different size layouts, it will be, let's see here, this one here is just the same, only on the opposite direction. And you can also see that I added this little piece here on this side to add a little pocket. So many more things that you can do. And this page here with the large side pocket, which is exactly the one that we did on this page also. So yeah, so I really love this album, and you can see how the book changes completely once you add decorations and you add your pictures. So even here we have that plain page, which is the same here, the last one that we did. So you don't always have to add all kinds of elements to make a beautiful page. Sometimes you can just add your pictures right onto the page, as you can see I did here. And also you don't need to have all of these bulky pages everywhere, because that way your album becomes just too heavy. So as you can see, even with just these 4 base pages, you can make multiple variations of a mini album just by switching the pages around and changing up the decorations and things like that. So to add the pages, I'm going to start by removing a portion of the tape. We're just gonna take that out. So we're gonna find the center of your signature, and we're gonna insert on the bottom, and then we're just gonna make sure that it is straight, and then we're gonna press down on the sticky side and remove the tape. And then we're gonna turn this over and just remove the tape from the back. I always use this super helping tool. I love it. So I'm gonna take this out, and there you go. So that's how you add your signature pages. So I'm gonna continue adding all the other ones. So now we have all of our pages added into our book, and now what we're gonna do is work on the inside covers. So for this page, I'm going to do a piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 7.75. And then I'm going to do a second piece that is going to measure 5 by 8.25. So I'm going to start with the first piece that measures 7.75 by 5.5, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch along the 5.5 inch side. And for the second piece that measures 5 by 8.25, I'm going to score 1/2 inch along the 8¼ inch side. So then I'm going to fold along the score lines, and I'm gonna start with this one. And then the second one that has the score line along the top, I'm going to glue these on top of the first piece. So we're just gonna add some glue, and we're going to line it up here on the top. And we are just going to make sure it is straight and even. And there you go. So now we're gonna have this little opening flap like that. And then we're going to bring the book back, and we're going to add this whole piece on the left side. So I'm going to add my glue. So I'm just going to line this up to the left side right here, and we're gonna add it right there. So then we have a page that's gonna open up, and there is also going to open to the side. And then I'm going to do another piece of 7¾ by 7¾ and we're going to score along 1/2 inch on any side, and we're just gonna add this piece right here. So now I'm just going to add this piece on the left side like that. And there you go. So now we have these two opening pages inside the front cover. So now we're gonna work on the back cover, and for this one I simply cut two pieces of 7½ by 7½, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And then we're just going to add these two pages, one on the top and one on the bottom. So we're going to just line it up on the top, and I'm gonna open that up, and then we're going to line this one on the bottom, and we're just gonna place it right here. And you might want, and there you go. So now we are done with our album. I hope that you guys enjoy this tutorial. Now I can't wait to see all your finished albums. Don't forget to tag me on Facebook or Instagram, sharing with me your complete album pictures. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. And like I said, I'm going to have the written instructions of this mini album on my website. The link will be on the description box down below, and also on my website I do have these blank albums available for sale, so everything will be linked down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.